Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast. It is the day before free agency. There's a little bit of news today, but also it's Roast My Roster Day. So we picked out some of our favorite rosters from all of your submissions. And then we have AJ's and my own roster as well to all point and laugh at, because before any of these rosters even landed today, they're all already wrong because Sam Malinski signs a 1-year, $1.4 million deal with the Colorado Avalanche. No big surprise that he signed and staying in Colorado. I have no issues with the dollar value number. I don't know why anyone would have any issues with it, to be honest. I know some people wanted probably longer term there, hoping to maybe wrap him up for a couple of years, but it seems like a pretty straightforward, easy deal to be done for the Avs that they don't have to worry about it for this year, at least.
UFA at the end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think we could probably wait on the Malinski talk for Wednesday.
Sure. Sounds good to me. We have plenty of rosters to get through, so we don't need to beat around the bush. There were a couple other minor trades in the NHL today, nothing too major. So let's just jump right in. Why raid around? I have no idea what our first roster is, but let's pull it up. Let's get to roasting. Who do we have first? All right. Sleepy C-Mac is number one on the board. This is the lineup. So acquired Nick Ehlers and Cody Glass for the forward core. And it looks like, is that Morgan Riley or Mike Riley? It's Mike. All right.
Also,
cool.
Mikey Asamont.
Yes, there is Asamont down there.
Mikey Asamont. That looks like Keandre Miller and Mike Riley. Morgan Riley is IE. And Drew Hellison.
Is it really? All right. The more you know. Yes, Drew Hellison as well.
Acquired Drew Hellison to sit.
Okay, I have it loaded up on my other screen too here. So we can give you the actual trades. Apparently, the Avs just get Cody Glass for future considerations, so that's dope. They also get Drew Hellison.
I don't think he's going to get QO'd Glass.
Is he not going to? Fair enough.
They did.
Oh, they did? Oh.
At the last minute today, they QO'd him because they were afraid to lose him.
They also got Drew Hellison and a second for Josh Manson out of Anaheim. And then they traded Marty Necas for Keandre Miller and a second from New York. A couple of other signings. They gave $2 million to Sam Malinski, so saved a little bit of money on that front. Keeps them out of using LOC's LTIR. They gave Mike Riley $800K after getting Nick Ehlers. It was for 7 years, $8 million. Hellison got under $1 million. Keandre Miller's deal ends up being a 6x6. A couple of other less than $1 million contracts signed as well.
Can we go back to the lineup? I just want to be able to see it when I pull it up. Thank you. The bottom six is rough for me.
There were a lot of people that traded for Cody Glass, and I don't understand why.
I just think a cheap depth center, right? Would be the appeal, but yeah, Cody Glass is I don't have a strong opposition to Cody Glass. I think he's fine. Nick Ehlers rocks. He was one of the most efficient players last season. He was one of the very few players in NHL history to have a point per game season while not even averaging 16 minutes a game or something. Nick Ehlers has been underutilized in Winnipeg for a really long time. But you kind of have the same problem with Ehlers as you do Marty Necas, where once you get to the postseason, struggles. A lot of struggles. And then Nick Ehlers also has the added benefit of he gets hurt all the time. So I love the player and I love his fit, but I think you get worse there. But if you're paying $8 million for Nick Ehlers instead of $10 million for Marty Necas, is that better? I also think that it's a terrible asset management. Keandre Miller for Marty Necas, hell to the nah. I don't even care about the second round pick. Hell to the nah. For me, hell to the nah.
This dude wants maximum value out of Marty Necas.
Yeah, if I'm trading Marty Necas, I'm getting some dudes, and I'm not getting a guy that's gonna lob grenades at the opposing team all the time. You know, it's Pizza Central with him. And you already have some turnover problems with Sam Girard and Josh Manson. No, I'm good, man. I know he trades Josh Manson, but you trade Josh Manson for Drew Hellison and then you sit Drew Hellison. Depth is great, but that's such poor usage of your assets. That's, to me, no thank you. Girl, please. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, Cody Glass, he's looking for a job every year, and I like Cody, a nice kid, like first rounder, had promising career, but it didn't really start the way that it was supposed to, right? He finds he's on his fourth team now, which makes it fine. That doesn't make you a bad player. I'm saying it's just you can find Cody Glasses anywhere. Again, there was talk he wasn't going to get qualified, so no, he did. Great, awesome. But I mean, you can find guys like that. I mean, for me, you just bump up Drury. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably a better player than Cody Glass if you give him that ice time. Keandre Miller, I'm out. I don't like him. So, I don't think he's that. People are like complaining about Sammy sometimes. Gee, and my Lord, guys, like, you'll complain about that guy. Trust me. It's not Mr. Intensity. So I'm out on, again, we're trying to win in the playoffs. That's what we're talking about. The last 3 years have been early exits, trying to elevate, your pace, your play. I don't touch Marty Necas for me, so that's I wouldn't go there.
It just feels there's a little bit of moving pieces around the chessboard for the sake of it. Getting Miller, I guess, sure. You're trying to do something with your defense there. I would agree with AJ. I don't know that running. You have a left side of Miller, Girard, and Riley, which is a lot of sameness. Your right side ends up being Makar Taves Malinsky, which cool, but yeah, there are concepts that I like. Moving Necas to get better somewhere else. I understand it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
The way you did it, I don't know that it makes your defense what you want it to be.
Yeah, and like you replace Necas with Ehlers, who is more injury prone and has the same postseason question marks and is older. Yeah. So for me, I don't feel like that's a step forward. As much as I love Nick Ehlers, the injuries really bother me.
Pretty lateral, for sure. I would agree.
How do you get Acimont? Is Acimont not a UFA, is he?
Let me look. He is.
Oh, yeah, he is. That's right. We already put him on the list. Yeah, you put on your list.
Yeah. Local boy.
Local boy, yeah. Littleton.
All right. We're 10 minutes in.
Last time we talk about Acimont.
It will not be. We're one roster in, so let's move on to another one.
Yeah.
We always go long on these shows, so we'll try and keep it rolling a little bit. Next one, titled Ooh Wee. You see the big forward acquisition there is Troy Terry, but they also get McLeod and Rodriguez for that third line. And then on the back end, they really just bring back Eric Johnson. So not a whole lot going on the backside of that, but it's a pretty big moving and shaking on the front side of this roster. If we can swap over to the trading and signing sheet, we can get into how they actually acquired these guys. Maybe one of our more accurate Malinsky guessers at $1.25 million, just $150K off. Props for that.
Yeah.
They keep Jonathan Drouin on that Jonathan Drouin deal is super duper fake, but power to you. No way Druin's staying for 2.6.
Also, you forgot to put Druin in that lineup.
Yeah, there was no Druin in that lineup either. Interesting.
Yeah, you signed him and then scratched him. That's great.
After acquiring Ryan McLeod, they give him a 3x3, which probably is on the low side for me. But the actual trades, yeah. EJ also back on a league minimum, whatever. Natchez for Troy Terry and a 7th round pick.
Why?
That just feels like a step back, right? Like, I know people love Troy Terry, but is he a better player than Marty Natchez? No.
He's cost controlled at least.
That's true. You do have the money side of it. Fair enough. Ross Colton for a couple of picks that it looks like you don't flip, which is confusing to me, but okay.
Hell yeah. Picks, baby.
Evan Rodriguez for a 4th. I guess you're just assuming Florida has massive cap crunch if they try and keep Marchand and Ekblad or something. And then Ryan McLeod with a 7th for a bunch of the Avs garbage, it would appear.
Yeah. Apparently Duran was on that lineup. That is 100% on me. I retract.
Oh, AJ can't read. Confirmed. He's part of the club.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of those trades are awfully odd. No, he's on that 3rd line there. Look at that.
Yeah, that's on me.
Look,
I think the biggest thing there is that the Ryan McLeod deal is it's a joke, dude. You trade a guy that left has no value in Chris Romaine, Sampo Ranta, Jean-Luc Foudy. None of those guys have any value, and then what, you threw in a 5th round pick because you were feeling generous? Like, come on.
If you turn that 5th into a 1st, maybe you're having a conversation about this if you're Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, and the Evan Rodriguez deal, why would Florida give him away for a 4th round pick? He's very cost efficient for them. He was really solid for them. Makes no sense whatsoever. The Ross Colton deal is not enough for me to actually do it.
I would agree.
I'm sure Tampa Bay would do that, but I don't know why Colorado would. The only one that I could actually see having a conversation about is the Terry for Natchez deal.
I'm just not interested. I don't think you're. And I get it. You're saving money because Natchez is going to get $9 million or whatever on his next deal. But
yeah,
just pay an agent.
You're getting the worst player.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ryan McLeod is an interesting conversation if you're looking to fill the Avs 3rd line. You just have to actually pay a real price.
Well, and with Ryan McLeod, you're looking to fill your 3rd line, but also a guy that you believe could step into the 2nd line job as Nelson ages out.
Yeah.
That's a great, and he's a great fit in Colorado. Very good defensively, great skater. He'd be a wonderful fit. He'd be a great addition as their 3rd line center. But you're also going to have to give him $5 million this summer.
Yep.
He's not going to get the 3x3, I don't think, that we just saw. So. And obviously we didn't even talk about it. But that Jonathan Duran deal, you can just throw it in the bin.
Yeah, there's a decent chance he gets double that on the market.
Just not on an 8-year deal.
No, he will not be getting an 8-year deal. It's true.
And I think that's why it's an 8-year deal, right? Is because, we'll keep the AAV down. He loves Colorado. He wants to stay here. Well, he don't love it that much because he's going.
Yeah. Alan Walsh.
And especially with those deals yesterday, today, like Haig and your guy there, the BU kid, Columbus, right shot D.
Fabro.
Yeah.
Fabro, that's a lot of money.
No, that's Fabro.
That's a lot of money.
Either way, Provorov's in talks too, so is Gavrikov. Not that those aren't done yet, so my roster isn't ruined yet. It's fine.
But the prices are high. Prices are high. You'll see it by tomorrow. Yeah. Prices are high. So
I think some of those prices might be too high, but I have been saying it for a while now. There's going to be some sticker shock this offseason. There's going to be some expansive contracts.
There's a big resetting of this market coming.
Yep. Okay, we got to hit our first break here before we get into our next. So let's make sure we are doing that, and then we'll keep the rosters rolling. Some not the best ones. I think the first two get pretty low ratings for the roasting category. I have no idea if the third one will be better or not. Let's see what we've got. All right. This one is apparently mine. So I added Lucas Reichel, Shane Wright were my two big forward ads. I also did keep Jonathan Drouin, and then I added Vladislav Gavrikov on the back end. This is pretty unrealistic just because of the contracts that I ended up signing some of these guys to, but that's okay. We can live with that. If we jump over to the next screen, I ended up just doing Marty Necas for Shane Wright 1-for-1. I assume this would come with some kind of sign and trade deal for Seattle. Maybe Seattle's trying to get out of Jared McCann too. Necas can give Matty Beniers a running mate on that team and a player that actually likes to play offense in that organization. Shane Wright, I think, fits kind of what you were talking about with McLeod. He can be their third line center in the immediate and work him into the second line role as Brock Nelson ages out. It also gives the Avs a very cost-controlled center for the next 2 years, which, for their immediate cup windows goes a long way for them. Then I grabbed Lucas Reichel for a second rounder and Ivan Ivan. Ivan Ivan's kind of a filler for insert a player Chicago could actually use on their roster here. If you want that to be Parker Kelly instead or whatever, fine. But I felt like Chicago was going to want a roster player. And then I signed Gavrikov for $7 million because he decided that he doesn't like money and he really, really wants to be in Colorado for some reason. So dope. Malinsky making an extra $400K makes the money a little bit tight for me because I brought back Jonathan Drouin at $4.5 million for another 2 years. It would be okay. You'd be able to skirt by with Logan O'Connor's LTIR to start the year, but you might have to do some interesting stuff, like run 20 out of your 23, send Keaton Middleton down once LOC got healthy or something. But you could make it work, technically. Either way, I tried to solve the Avs problems with this, and while it's unrealistic, I do think I at least solved most of the problems. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, I mean, Wright had a solid year, and we've talked about we both really like the trajectory that he's on. 20 years old, had the season that he had. That's a really big swing for Necas, though.
Yep,
at least he's a center. But again, I think you're getting an even worse player than the one that you traded for with Troy Terry. So I understand what you're doing.
Oh yeah, if Shane Wright doesn't even become a 60-point player, pretty rough. Like he has to be a 60-point player floor going forward for that trade to not just be me losing it. I get it.
Yeah, you're really, 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 really hoping that Shane Wright's development continues going upward. That is... I would probably ask Seattle for something else. A legitimate prospect.
I initially had like a third or something in there. And I was like, this organization just doesn't trade players. So what if I just did it 1-for-1? They might actually say yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Gavrikov at 7, that's unrealistic.
Yeah, I know he's going to get like 8.5 or something in free agency.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not a Wright fan. You guys know that, so I'm not a Shane Wright fan. Like I said, to me, I don't touch Marty right now, and unless he's being unreasonable and he's pulling the Matthew Tkachuk card from 2 years ago, right, 3 years ago, whatever it was. Hey, I'm not signing here. You know what I mean? Then you got to trade him. I get it. Other than that, I don't touch him. But Wright's not my cup of tea. And then, Gavrikov I love. Yeah, again, you're seeing those. Hey, got 5.5. So what's Gravikov gonna get? He's got to be 8, 9 for sure.
Look, maybe tomorrow Colorado announces emergency changes where we don't have state tax anymore. Okay, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
I I get the concerns about the roster. I'm a Shane Wright lover, so I'll go down with that ship. I'm
Well,
good with it.
the Drouin taking a 2-year deal when he's going to get paid tomorrow. I mean, he's going to make more money than that, and he's going to have probably more years than that on the table.
I know.
I'm not with it. I would burn your roster to the ground. I don't like it.
That's fine. We'll burn yours later. We can move on to our next
Yeah.
roster since mine is on the garbage pile with everybody else's. Nets 6. His roster not doing any major work to the top 6, but adding Nick Bugstad and Lucas Reichel to the third line, another Cody Glass additioner, also going out and getting Rasmus Anderson and Brian Dumoulin for the back end. Let's see how you magically acquired all of these players. Looks like for the trades, Rasmus Anderson gets acquired for Sean Barons and Josh Manson, as well as the 2027 first. And then Lucas Reichel with a handful of weird pick swaps, but essentially for a 2027 second.
Hey, yo, he got 2026 sevenths, okay? That's what I wanted. I asked
okay.
for 2026
Okay.
sevenths.
Don't worry. We have that roster coming up. Don't worry.
Oh, perf.
Also, on the signing front, mostly just keeping guys, but as mentioned, Bugstad for $2 million on a 1-year deal, and then Brian Dumoulin for $3 million on a 1-year deal. Another good Sam Malinsky guesser. He did add an extra year, but had him at 1.5. And then Anderson and Natchez both extended for the big dollar. It looks like Natchez is $9 million for 8 years, and Rasmus, is that Rasmus? Yeah, it is for $8 million. Excuse me, $8 million for 8 years.
Ooh.
Those are big commitments. That's a big commitment. Also, Cody Glass is acquired. Cool.
Yeah, for future considerations.
Sure. I am not the biggest Rasmus Anderson lover, so I don't know if you guys want to pop off on that one. I also traded for like Reichel for essentially a second round pick, so I'm cool with that one. But if you guys want to take the Anderson conversation,
yeah, I want to give it to E. You had him in Calgary. You know him better than any of us do. So what's up?
I love him. I love him. Now, is he worth $8 million? Do I think he's going to get $8 million? Probably not. But that's what's happening in Calgary, right? He's told them that he's not signing, right? He's not going to stay there. He wants to explore, so he's got a year left. I like him. He's a bit wild, but I love his jam. I love his pop. I love his extra gear he gets when the big games are on the line. This guy's not afraid of the moment. You need guys like that, and that's exactly the problem. The last 3 playoffs with Colorado, the moment nobody sees the moment, nobody sees it. Guys like that, he's a great fit right here. If you're for some reason getting rid of Josh, for whatever the reasons are, and you end up with this guy on the right side, then you've made your team better. And I'm a big fan of Manson. We all know that. But I love Rasmus Anderson. I do believe he's going to win. I do believe he's just that human being that he's a glue guy. Like, he's fun. He plays the right way. Yeah, is he perfect? No, but he's got jam. He's got pop. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would love for them to. I like his roster right there just because of that. I mean, I don't. Again, I don't think you're going to give a first and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a guy on the move, and I'd love the Avalanche to get him for sure.
Yeah, so me being the stats guy is just going to come in here and say that his results have absolutely tanked over the last couple of years. It is important to note that Calgary is playing him as a hard one. They're playing him like he's Cale Makar. He's playing in all situations. He's chewing out. He's playing like 23 minutes a night. Rasmus Anderson isn't good enough for that. He's just not. He's not that guy. So when you look at his results, it's like, yeah, he can't handle that job. But in Colorado, behind Cale Makar on their second pairing, very intrigued to see what he could do. His skating isn't going to be a great fit, but everything else, I think, the way that he activates offensively, his shooting ability is awesome. And yeah, you bring that physicality onto that side, and you would replace a little bit of what Josh Manson brings, but in a better all-around package. I like that. I'm not about that contract. That's way too much for my blood. But we just saw Alexander Romanov sign an 8-year deal for $6 million. So who knows?
I mean, take about 3 off of both ends of that contract, and I'd be more interested. I'll put it to you that way. But give me a 5x5, and we're talking a different conversation.
I was gonna say a 6x6 would be something that I would be interested in, but I'm not signing him to anything today. I want to see what he does. I'm taking the risk of seeing what he does.
I do. My big concern with him, and you mentioned the usage, the competition definitely plays into this, but we've watched Anderson's defensive metrics fall off of a cliff. And I do wonder if you're essentially replacing Josh Manson with that move. And I know I'm not saying Manson was perfect. He had his issues, but do you run into that problem of, okay, if you put Anderson and Girard together as a pairing, are you just giving away the front of your net at a certain point? You might run into some defensive functionality issues there. Put it to you that way.
Frankly, at the moment, you're giving away the front of your net anyway, because Sam Girard and Josh Manson lead goals right there, right in that area.
You're not
Those
wrong,
two guys
but
together
mechanically, the Josh Manson role is supposed to prevent that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. We just about made it to our second break here. Let's do that first before we really start revving up the engine on some of these rosters. But let's hit the break. We are, of course, brought to you by one of our many fantastic sponsors. Who knows? Maybe you signed up with First Bank the other day. You can go get yourself a new floor with Empire today. Whether it be hardwood, whether it be carpet, whether it be tile, Empire today has it all. They are the flooring experts that you can get with wherever, however, whatever is the best way for you to do it. You can get $350 off over at empiretoday.com/DNVR. You can go to that website online, use their tools as well to find whatever you're looking for, I guess, really. You can measure out your room, see what your flooring looks like in that space. You can also get a hold of them and get a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. You can have someone come out. They'll get the swatches of flooring. They'll show them to you. You can see what they look like with your furniture in your room. And you can go get it from Empire Today. Again, empiretoday.com/DNVR. That DNVR code will get you that $350 discount on your new floors. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount. Of course, restrictions apply. You can visit empiretoday.com/DNVR for full details, or, of course, call 1-800-588-2300. Empire. Once you've got your floors from Empire Today, maybe you need to get out of the house. Look, if they're working on your floors all day, you don't want to be there. So go get yourself a Toyota at one of your local Front Range Toyota stores to get you on the roads, or off-roads too. They do have 17 different models with all-wheel or four-wheel drive, so you can go off-roading if that's your thing. Or maybe you just want to drive through the crazy Colorado weather and stay on roads. Also valid. Of course, they have trucks, which have been part of their DNA forever. They've got the SUVs like the 4Runner. They've got sedans too. They've got a vehicle for everyone over at Toyota. They also offer the most low or zero emission vehicles combined, more than any other automaker out there. So you can have a bunch of choices that way too, including even trucks like the Tundra iForce Max. Go get with Toyota. Again, to find a vehicle for you, you can visit your Front Range Toyota stores at Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official vehicle of us here at DNVR and the Colorado Avalanche. Let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We have, I think, like 5 or 6 more rosters to go. Let's keep it rolling. Who's next? All right. Yeah. I did throw this one on here because, I had to keep the people happy with a Crosby move on the list. The bottom of
Right.
this
We
lineup
could
is
speed run this one.
bold. Yeah, they also added Brent Burns, which a number of people added Brent Burns on the backside of their teams. I would ask why. I have no interest in Brent Burns, but yes, the Crosby, it was Natchez and a first, I think, for Crosby. It's not going to happen. Everyone wants it to happen. We can move on with life.
Yeah. What did they pay for it?
Natchez and a first, I believe.
Natchez in a first? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty expensive for a guy that's not going to have multiple suitors.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty locked in if it's going to be the Colorado. Is what it is. Not much more to look at with that roster. So,
yeah,
cool.
We had a Sidney Crosby one.
Neat. Yeah, you guys can't blame us. We had a Crosby deal. Let's go to the next one.
Brindley, Bardakov, and Prishchapov all making your roster. Oosh.
Yeah, it's pretty thin behind Crosby. Next one, titled "Breaking the Law," does keep the top six essentially the same. Another Cody Glass getter. A lot of people trading for Lawson Krause as well. He's one of them with the third line there. Also adds Isaac Lundestrom to the fourth line. And then on the defensive side, went out and got Mario Ferraro. Let's see what you paid for all of these.
Yeah, I'm curious about pieces.
That. All right. This one, aside from paying Cody Glass and Isaac Lundestrom way too much money, Lawson Krause cost the Avs a second-round pick here. Cody Glass cost them some random picks. Lundestrom cost them... Yeah, and Ivan, fair enough. Lundestrom cost them Oscar Olausson and a fourth, and then Mario Ferraro with retention for a second and a fifth. The Avs really, I appreciate the going for the not having any picks. I appreciate you for dumping them all. Let's go. I'm here for that. Not sure about the value on some of these deals, though.
Yeah, if Lawson Krause could be had for a second-round pick, I think it'd be done already.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling on that one. I think you wildly overpaid for Cody Glass and Mario Ferraro. Lundestrom is fine. That's fine value to me. I'm not batting an eye at that thing. Probably paid him more than I would at 1.5, but it's fine. I don't have any issues with the Lundestrom. Everything else I think is bad. For one team or the other. For Lawson Krause for a second round pick, great for Colorado. Terrible for Utah.
I love the size of Krause. I've always loved them.
Yeah.
I still can't believe he's never been traded. You know what I mean? Like and again, he never blossomed to be the next level of production. You know?
Never been traded other than the first time he got traded from Florida.
Well, from Florida, yeah. But I mean, he never played in Florida, did he? I'm trying to remember. He was a pick of Florida. Yeah, he never played.
He might have played.
He played really early in his career. I don't remember if it was for the Panthers or not.
It was not.
I'll check.
It's not. Arizona only.
He was a Panther pick though.
Yep, he was.
Yeah, I mean, again, he brings size, he brings reach, he brings, whatever. What was I going to say? But when you're starting to make deals for Cody Glass, like I said, I like guys like Cody Glass and everything, but you got to remember, this is a guy that has been on waivers. This is a guy that, has had to look for jobs. Looked like he was going to be looking for a job till today. But I think that team, was it Jersey? All of a sudden they're like, have you looked at the center market on the UFA?
Yep.
Right? Pretty thin.
Yep.
So they're like, what are we doing here? Let's just sign Cody and move on, And what do you get? What do you sign? Again, here's his QO, whatever it is. Right? So it's like, let's just QO him. He's a good person and we'll try to work with him. But the UFA class is not very good. And guys like that have very limited value, you know what I mean? Or to none. That's why they're looking for jobs. And again, Silver Spooner at the start, first rounder, Vegas, yay, you know what I mean? But after that, the shine goes off, and you're back in that pool with everybody else, and you're fighting for your career, right? And good on him. He's fought a lot, not not fought that way, but fought to stay an
Figuratively.
NHLer. Figuratively, I was looking for that word. Thank you, AJ, my writer. But I'm just saying, yeah, Kraus I like, um, but guys like Glass, you don't really have to give up anything to get them. They're really
Yeah,
not worth
Yeah.
much.
agreed.
And with Kraus giving up a second round pick when he's coming off of the worst year that he's had in 4 seasons,
yeah,
it just not my favorite.
Kraus it's a weird one too when you look at his career. All of his quality scoring years have come when he's gotten top 6 minutes, and he isn't getting top 6 minutes in Colorado.
Yep.
That's not happening.
Eric's good ice conversation strikes again.
It is.
Yep.
It is. I mean, I tell you, you might have a lightning in a bottle year on the third, fourth line when you're not like getting a lot of ice. But is that realistic that you're going to reproduce that? It's hard unless you get a second power play and some top 6 minutes. It's hard.
All right, keep it rolling. Let's see what our next roster looks like. I don't know that we've had one that we've really loved so far yet.
Not yet.
This one, Maximum Shenanigans, another Ehlers acquirer for the forward core, completely rerunning the third line with Rodriguez, Frost, and Mantha all acquired. And then doing nothing really with the defense, just bringing Lindgren back on that front. How much did you pay for these options, my friends? Malinsky signed for 8 years. That seems very legitimate. Love that for the Avs. Erod signing for free for some reason. Ehlers, another 8-year, $8 million deal for him. Anthony Mantha on the cheap. I actually don't hate that, even though a lot of people don't like him. Lindgren also. All right. So the name of the game was just give everyone 8-year deals this year. Apparently, that's how you made your way around having to pay these guys. I understand.
This is me in the kitchen. Did not cook.
Frost for surprisingly cheap. Actually, well, there's like, why did you give multiple of these guys multiple deals? This is confusing. Let's see the trades as well. Were there any trades? Or are these all just free agency acquisitions, I guess?
I mean, why is Morgan Frost and Evan Rodriguez free? Where did they come from?
Yeah, I don't really follow that, but anyway. Okay. So none of this is going to, not that none of mine is going to happen either. So I don't know that I can talk, but none of this is going to happen. Absolutely none of these deals would ever happen. But
the only one I could see is Anthony Mantha, 1 year, $1 million.
Yep.
Well, also the Ehlers, 8 years, $8 million, but they would have to trade for his rights to do that. So.
Yep.
Great. Let's move on.
Cool. Next.
I mean, there's nothing to say about that, man. Yep. I'm surprised that's even that you pulled that one. Why?
I don't remember pulling that one.
Yeah, 0 of 10. Tiff tried to slip one in there. Nope.
Here's for the Marchand crowd, the bombshell where the Avs go out and get Marchand for their top 6. They also get Simone Holmstrom, Mason McTavish, and a guy's name that I'm not going to pronounce for their third line. And then the Romanov deal is
Maxim Siplikov.
There you go. You're also getting Romanov and Lacombe for your back end. Romanov obviously dead now that he just.
What is this deal with New York? You have Holmstrom, Siplikov, and Romanov. What is this deal?
It's a deal. All right, let's see what it looks like. So first of all, you get Lacombe, Hellison, and McTavish for Nason, Manson, or Natchez, Manson, and Barons. And then you get Holmstrom, Romanov, and Siplikov somehow for Colton, Girard, and 2 fourths.
What? That's one of their top 4 defensemen and 2 of their top 9 forwards who are young and actually had a really good season. And then on the other side, you're giving up. I mean, Natchez for Lacombe is one that I put in a piece that I wrote because I had to come up with some sort of Nature's deal. And then adding all those other pieces in there makes it crazy. Also, this roster isn't compliant. On top of all these other things, this roster isn't compliant.
It is with LOC's LTIR money. Everyone just forgot
Okay,
to move them into LTIR.
Okay. I also didn't move him into LTIR because he's coming back at some point, and I was like, might as well plan for that. These deals, trying to look at some of these deals. Well, we know that the Romanov deal isn't close. Brad Marchand apparently is about to break the bank.
Is someone really gonna give him that much?
I don't know, man. The Malinsky deal ended up not being.
Close,
I mean, the money is
the years is not close, but
yeah, the years hurt there. We'll see the raises over the next couple of years. Holmstrom and Siplakov, I can tell you, I haven't even looked at their contract projections. No idea.
How do you get them though? How do you get Holmstrom?
I have no idea.
Holmstrom, Romanov, and Siplakov for way too cheap, essentially.
Yeah. Ross Colton, Sam Girard, and 2/4 for Holmstrom, Romanov, and Siplakov. No. Not gonna happen.
Do they even do that if those fourths become firsts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Holmstrom's 23 years old, coming off of a 20-goal year. That's great, but also, holy smokes, Holmstrom, a 19.8% career shooter.
Yep. Boy can snipe.
Yeah. Damn, really that's crazy. I mean, I like Holmstrom enough on the third line. He's pretty good. And Siplakov and Nelson created a little bit of magic last year. So, but for that price, it doesn't make any sense. I would take Romanov over Sam Girard today. Straight up. Maybe not on that contract anymore.
For the Isles to even consider something like that, they essentially have to say, we're blowing it up and starting over. Right? Like.
Yeah.
Trading for a Colton or maybe Girard makes sense as like a flippable piece. I guess you could do that with Colton too, but it feels like they would be looking for a futures heavy deal if they were going to do something like that.
Probably. But Holmstrom, yeah, I'll take him any day too. I mean, is he going to be lucky the rest of his career? I don't know, maybe. I mean, some guys are just good shooters. They don't shoot a lot. But then again, it's all coming down to ice time here.
Yeah.
Where does he fit here? So, like I said, hard to get if you can't get on the ice.
All right.
Jackson, Lacombe, they're not trading him. But
just to run back, we did get, I don't think we have the graphic, but the trades on the one, that was absolutely crazy. They traded a second and 2/4 for Erod. They traded Ross Colton straight up for Morgan Frost, and they just gave Natchez to Winnipeg for a first, apparently.
And Ehlers signing rights.
Yeah.
That's how they got the 8-year deal. All right, well, all of that's bad.
Not great, Bob. I think
I'm not entirely sure how they traded. They traded for Evan Rodriguez and then signed him to a whole different contract. That all sounds confusing to me, but all right, whatever. We're moving on.
Yes, I think we have 3 or 4 left here.
Great.
Whatever's next, let's go. Okay, sorry. This one, a big New York trade, but with the Rangers, as you go out and get Lafreniere along with Keandre Miller on the back end. They also signed Bavillier, Danton Heinen, and Nick Pervix, and Nate Schmidt as well. So a lot of free agency work in the depth of it, but then the big trade with Natchez involved as well. Let's see how it all panned out in the trades. So first of all, signings. Dang, pretty cheap deal for Keandre Miller there. $4.7 million. It is for 1 year, which would be weird. Perbix 2.7 for 3. I would do that deal today. Bavillier, you way overpaid at $3.3 million. Little all over the place on those. Even Nate Schmidt's way overpaid there. The actual trades, though, Natchez and Girard for Lafreniere and Miller. The Avs also give up a 7th and a 4th. And then Danton Heinen acquired for Manson and Olausen.
Yeah, that deal's tough.
Yeah, I don't know why Pittsburgh. Okay, so let's say Pittsburgh's blowing it up, right? But why are they like bailing the Avs out of Manson's cap hit then? I don't really know.
Well, because they could turn around and get significantly more than Danton Heinen for Josh Manson.
That's fair, I suppose, but
that's basically it, man.
Both of these deals feel weird to me. You're hoping Lafreniere gets you close to what Marty Necas is getting you offensively, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, if we think Marty sleeps a little bit, like this guy, I mean, listen, he's a good player, but this guy can sleep too. Yeah. It's funny how you always think like guys are on the other backyards are better, right? And you don't really watch them on a daily basis. But players that are frustrating or different teams are going to be frustrating on your team. That is nothing new. You're not changing their character. I don't like it because of that. I want dogs. I want dogs. And is
everything.
Marty a dog? I don't know. We'll see.
We've talked about Keandre Miller, but Lafreniere last year, 82 games played. He had 17 goals, averaging 17 minutes per night.
There you go.
Yep.
And his contract, it's like a $7.5 million deal. Like, I'm just
outside
I'm good on that.
Necas's rookie year. Necas has outproduced Lafreniere every year of his career, essentially on a per game basis.
Yeah, I mean, Lafreniere has one 20-goal season in 5 years. I know that there's been some usage issues that they haven't played him on the power play very much in New York, but still, I mean, he has 7 power play goals in his career. He has 7 power play goals. So you would definitely want to put him on your power play if you're trying to maximize that. But yeah, that's, to me, again,
you just
bad
get worse,
value
right?
here.
Like, yeah.
The enthusiasm for trading Marty Necas is so bizarre to me. Like, I'm open to the conversation, but what is this? Everybody's trading him for junk.
I
don't know. Maybe my Shane Wright move isn't quite so bad. I mean, it's still bad, but you know what? At least it's in good company. Put it to you that way.
I'll take Shane Wright over all the other deals at this point because I'm a believer. Okay. But
we got a couple more, including AJ. So let's keep going here. What do we have next for our raw? Would you rate any of these as at least a 5 yet? I don't know if we've had even a 5 yet.
No.
This one, another Cody Glass gamer, but also Robertson out of Toronto. And then the big defenseman they go and get is Adam Pelech along with Brian Dumoulin. I remember this Pelech deal being crazy, if I remember correctly, but let's see what it actually was. Another Asimont, however, I'm mispronouncing names. I mean, that's how it goes. Cody Glass for nothing, as usual. Gerard for picks. For reasons. Then Pelech is for Sean Barons and a first. I don't see New York doing that, but what do I know? And then Nick Robertson for a third. Let me ask, I know Pelech isn't getting moved, but let's say he was available. Would you be willing to go heavier than this in for Adam Pelech on the Avs D?
For me, that's about the price that I would pay for Adam Pelech, who's one of the absolute tip-top best defensive defensemen in the NHL. Yeah. I'd be comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with this contract. I'm comfortable with the player. I'm comfortable with that trade price. Honestly, it's probably my favorite trade that we've seen so far.
I'll second that.
All
I think it's a realistic ask or get, whatever you want to call. I like it.
Do you think he actually could be available though?
I wonder if he is because of his age and them resetting their core and building
Sure.
around the younger guys, I would say Pelech. I would say Pelech should be available. If Colorado was going to offer a price like that, they should be listening, in my opinion.
Okay. I'd be a lot more interested in that than any other Ds that we've talked about today. I'll put it to you that way. I didn't think it was really going to be on the table, but you're telling me that could be possible. I'm down.
It makes sense to me. What were the other ones there? I don't remember the other deals. I think
Gerard
it was Gerard for some
picks. Yeah.
Oh, this is the next one. This is somebody just catering to me.
Yes, it is. Gerard for picks, and then Robertson for a third.
I like the Robertson deal. I don't mind the Gerard deal. It's 2 seconds. I think it's probably a little on the light side, but so Sam Gerard, so YOLO.
So I get it's like, hey, they plan on using those seconds at the deadline or whatever, but it's hard for me to grade any trade where the Avs go out and get picks because the Avs don't want picks right now. The only reason they're getting picks is to use those picks to go get something else.
Yeah, but the cap savings he turned around and used on Pelech.
I understand, but you have 2 seconds. What are you doing with them? Is my point.
I would say the Robertson contract, 1 year, $1 million, probably a little on the light side, but I don't think it's I don't think Robertson's getting $3 million or anything.
Sure,
so
makes sense.
We said we didn't like these rosters. I like this one.
Well,
I'm in on this one. I like this.
We got our
this
first
is my jam.
AJW.
It's my jam.
Congratulations to Alter 7358. You're the one
Obviously
roster that isn't roasted today.
Yeah, the Cody Glass thing gets blown up because of what happened today. But if that's the only hole that you blow in it, I mean, solid.
All right, the next one we can go very quickly. I put this one in there because this man went out and did what AJ wanted. He traded for every single 7th round pick in the NHL for the next year's draft.
Let's just get to the
lineup.
Trades.
Yeah, lineup doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. He just went in
traded
to all 31 other teams.
He traded every single draft pick for the next 3 seasons to get only 7th round picks in 2026. So that rocks. I'm all about it. We can move on. I just had this vision of the Avalanche picking 32 straight players in the all right, the 7th round has started, and you see the board where everybody's on the picks, and it just says Colorado times 32. Yes, hilarious. All right, let's move on.
I think we have one more and then AJ's. No, we're just at AJ's. All right, perfect. AJ,
great.
Take it away, buddy.
So pretty much I didn't do a ton. On the forward side, I signed Anthony Mantha, I signed Joe Veleno, and I signed Mikey Asimont. All cheap deals because, I gave Mikey Asimont 2 years. And then I traded Josh Manson to Detroit because they're desperate. So I got a 2nd and a 3rd. And then I turned around and used that 2nd and the Columbus 2nd. Added Sam Girard for Hampus Lindholm and obviously a 2026 7th. So that's how I tried to change up my second pairing. And then I signed Nick Perbix. I have absolutely no idea what he's going to sign for. So I gave him 4 years at $3.5 million. Feels like a safe in between. I gave John Merrill 1 year at 1.2. That's what he made last year. So I'm just like, take the same money. Come do the same job. And then I also brought back Eric Johnson for $800K. Cheap. I got some cheap deals. And then my cap space, I have like $2.4 million left to work with. I wanted a little bit of space so that I could work at the deadline. And I still have some picks. I kept all the prospects. So, and I changed up the second pairing, which was really my big goal. So now my second pairing is Hampus Lindholm and Nick Perbix.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a believer.
I'm down. I'm down for what you did on the defensive side. The forward side feels a little bit lacking to me. I do feel like the Avs might want to take a swing on the forward side, but
definitely I'm good giving Anthony Mantha 60 games to have a good year. I think he's going to be a nightmare wherever he goes, but I'm trying to get some goals for a couple of games, and then I'm using the cap space that I saved. I'm using it at the deadline to go and get somebody actually good.
So it's just a plug, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all right. I like it.
All right. I mean, kick the can to our next Roast My Roster then. We'll have to grade you doubly on where you are on that one, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I if that's what you're going to do, I do think you come away feeling pretty good about the Avs defense if you somehow end up with Perbix and Lindholm. It's definitely a new look for the defensive side.
Well, and I have Boston trading Lindholm just because they're in transition. They need to start moving some of this money out.
Yeah.
They need to, they suck. They're not going to do
retool
anything
time
next
at minimum.
year.
Yeah,
Exactly. And Sam Girard can help them, and they get high picks.
Yep. I'm open to that. We are winding down the show here. Yes, Trent Miner did just extend for 2 years with the Avalanche. Not too surprising. Still an RFA, and we kind of expect that he's earned the third goalie role or whatever you want to call it at this point in Colorado.
Yeah, for this year.
Yes, until Nabokov shows up.
Yeah, when Nabokov shows up, poor Trent Miner's getting pushed out.
Yeah, but he's got it hopefully for at least this year. Are we all idiots? Would any of these trades happen in the NHL? You've been in those rooms.
No, I'm kidding. You never know. It's hard to judge because of nowadays. Back then, you could judge. I think you judge less now because circumstances have a lot to do with trades. What was the team on a cap crunch? Was this a salary? I mean, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad. There's some bad ones, and then and also people like to trade because they just want to trade, right? You know what I mean? Or on these exercises.
Totally.
Oh yeah, I want to. You know what I mean? So sometimes your assets better, in your own hands and to go develop them. But yeah, there'll be some cheap, people out there starting tomorrow, but it's pretty thin, guys. It's pretty thin.
It is. We are wrapping up the show here. Tomorrow's free agency show will start at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll be live for probably about 5 hours, and then at the end, we'll have our actual proper podcast wrapping up what happened for the Avs that day and other major news. So tune in all day tomorrow if you want to watch along with us and laugh at the absurd amounts of money that gets spent. But we are out of here for today. We appreciate all y'all hanging out. Go read all of AJ's pieces. He's posted a bunch of stuff over the past 3 days. Become a diehard. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.